Hello folks, this is Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Auto Detailing here in Dallas, Texas. Scott, why are we staring at your computer? How come we're not looking at a car, a polish, a pad, a polisher? I want to talk about something. I want to have a very honest and transparent question with you guys. How are auto detailing chemicals or supplies really made? What's very interesting to me is we have these large companies like Meguiar's, Optimum, Sonax. They make all these videos on YouTube. They show us how their products work. They explain the science to us. It's up to us to try to figure out as laymen, does their science work? Sometimes a lot of their claims just aren't there. We see in the real world it doesn't work. There's a lot of hype and BS within auto detailing, but I find it interesting that a lot of these large companies make tremendous amount of educational videos, but they'll never ever allow us, or I have not seen it yet, where any of these companies that say they make their own products, why don't they let us see how the product is made? If I owned a company and had a great product and I showed you how to use it through videos, I'd also want to show you my facility. Somebody might say, well, Scott, they don't want to share or expose trade secrets. Well, I can watch a video about how Ford makes a vehicle. I can watch a video how Chevy makes a vehicle within their facility. You can cover up sensitive material. You can show us how you make the products. I certainly would be proud and would love to bring you into my factory if I had amazing products that you liked. What is my point here? Well, a lot of these companies won't do it. In fact, I don't know any company that does it that will show you their facility. Some of you might say, no, I've seen facilities. What you've seen are large containers of chemicals and a bottling machine putting the chemicals from the large containers into bottles to be labeled to be sold to you. They'll never let you see any further than that. I want to give you an eye-opening experience, a thought-provoking experience about my industry. My computer right now is open to a company called B&B Blending. I'll bring the camera in so you can look closer. But it's B&B Blending. This company happens to be in Colorado. They are one of like 3 or 4 huge chemical blenders here in the United States. What are chemical blenders? Well, this particular chemical blender here has a vast amount of all sorts of auto detailing supplies, tire dressings, waxes, compounds, sealants. The list is endless. In fact, if you go to B&B Blending's website, there'll be a little, I don't know what you call these things, a little scroll bar on the side. You can open up vehicle washes, you can hit interior cleaners, dressings, and then you can see all the products that they provide. What happens in my industry, folks, is that a lot of the companies you're buying products from are running to a blender like this and buying a certain blend. What a blend is basically these blenders have multiple different types of tire dressings. Maybe they're water-based, maybe they're silicone-based, and these companies will pick and go, ooh, I like that one, can I have that one? What happens with these blenders, it's kind of like baking a cake. I'll give you an example. When you make a chocolate cake, you have to have foundational ingredients, right? Flour, sugar, milk, eggs, whatever. But maybe your mom throws a little bit of something extra in it and the cake tastes a little bit different and everybody praises her. Well, maybe somebody else's mom makes the same chocolate cake, but she needs the same foundational ingredients as the other woman, but she throws something else in it to kind of tweak it a little bit so it tastes better than the other grandma's cake or whatever the case may be. Chemical blenders do the same thing. When their clients come to them, let's say 20 companies come to them and say, we want this dressing, which is called Blackout. This is great, it's water-based. The blender now has to protect everybody in this buying group. He can change the color, he can change the scent, he may be able to tweak the formula a little bit, but he can't mess with the foundational ingredients within this dressing. So what happens in our industry is that a lot of the companies, unfortunately, again, my industry is not honest. They're not transparent. And by the way, auto detailing is not the only industry that does it. Women's makeup is probably far worse than this. Women's makeup, the makeup industry is horrible for women. Some women are buying lipsticks at $50 and somebody else is buying the same lipstick at $10, but they don't know the difference. It's all about marketing. How fancy is the label? So here's a company called B&B Blending. What's very interesting is, say 20 companies come and want this Blackout water-based tire dressing. He has to protect all those people, right, within his organization or those buying from him. Because company A that may want this may want to sell it for $20. Company B, who comes in and buys this, may want to sell it for $35, even though it's the same blend, just a different color and a different scent. Most likely, they're all signing non-disclosure agreements with each other because they don't want to be exposed in this game. But yet, there's a website, you can see it, and I want to show you something because a picture is worth 1,000 words. Let me just pick up this camera, folks. Here's the website. It's called B&B Blending. And it's a little picture of it, dressings, right? It says dressings. Somebody's putting something on a piece of plastic. Here's the little scroll bar down here. If I move the page, you'll see what car soaps, everything. You guys can look it all up. Or even up here, it says paint care, vehicle wash, interior care. Let me move the mouse and just let the banner move. Goes to dressings. Watch this. Let me go in here so it can't move. Folks, do you guys recognize that picture? Do you recognize the individuals in the picture? Do you recognize possibly the studio? What you're seeing there is the Auto Geek studio. I don't know the gentleman's name who's applying the tire dressing, but I watched this video. It was actually a very nice video. I think it was a Pinnacle video maybe, or a Wolfgang, I can't remember. The gentleman, which you can't see his face, his hands are on that detail cart, you see his legs. Folks, I believe that to be Mike Phillips. If these companies are buying from B&B Blending, I would imagine they're all signing a non-disclosure agreement with each other. Do you think Auto Geek would want a picture of them on a B&B Blending website where you can look at car soaps, tire dressings, waxes and sealants? Does that seem a little funny to you? I'll just leave it at that. It's totally up to you to decide. But there's a little exposure into my industry, how it actually works. Let me put my camera back down here so I don't, I'm so sorry, folks. But the website's called B&B Blending. You can look it up for yourself, see what's going on in the real world, because sometimes we argue with each other, right? Maybe I like product from company A. My best buddy John likes products from company B. And we both argue with each other. Hey, mine's better than yours. It works better than yours. Whatever the case may be, this is marketing at its best or at its worst. They just change the color. They change the scent. They also know human perspective is going to come into play, right? My perspective's different than my buddy's, but we're arguing over which one's better. I'm paying less than he is. Sometimes we're all buying the same products in some cases, and we don't even realize it, and we're arguing over the silliest of things. It's really important to educate yourself within auto detailing. It allows you to be efficient, effective, especially when you're in business for yourself. What chemicals are the best chemicals you should be buying? Could you possibly be buying a chemical that you like for $35? You might be able to get it through somebody else for $20. Again, there's a lot of secrecy in my industry. I just wanted to kind of shed some light on that. Go to B&B Blending. Again, I'm not beating up B&B. I'm not beating up Auto Geek. I just thought that was interesting. I'm not sure if Auto Geek wants that picture on this website, but I thought it was very interesting when I looked at it. And there's lots of other blenders. It's not just B&B. There's 3 other huge blenders. I'm afraid I'll get blacklisted on YouTube and lose all my subscribers or be told in forums Scott's the biggest idiot. But truth is here. You can find it if you want to. That doesn't mean, folks, let's say even Auto Geek did go to B&B Blending for a certain sealant you like. That's fine. If it works, you love it, awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. What concerns me is when these companies start claiming that they actually manufacture the product. That's not honest. It's not transparent. I know some of you are going to say, well, that's the way the world works. Well, yes, it is the way the world works, but there's egos within my industry that continue to perpetuate this problem within auto detailing. I don't think, somebody said to me, Scott, are you going to create a product line? Well, guess what, folks? I'll be very honest with you. If I did, think about it. I'm a rambling fool. I'm not a chemist. I'd most likely have to go to B&B Blending. But you know what I would do? I would tell you I went to somebody like this. I found a formula I like. I maybe asked them to tweak it a little bit for me. And now I want to show you how I use it. I want to help you through the process. Honesty and transparency could be very powerful in sales. But a lot of these big corporations are very careful, very cautious. But again, it's really their own fault because they tend to. I've heard companies say they make the product. They don't, folks. Companies like Optima, Meguiar's, I don't know if they go to a blender, but I think it's interesting they've never let us into their facilities. Why not be proud of these things? Why not share it with us? Folks, a lot of this information is right there for you. You can look it up, take a look at it, decide what's best for you. Be careful. with companies who say they actually manufacture the product that may trigger you to buy it, right? You feel like you've got a bond or a connection to that individual. But I found a lot of companies that claim to manufacture something, when I go to them and I need technical information about their product, all of a sudden they disappear. They're brainless, they're clueless. That's when I realized something's up in my industry a while back. But here it is, B&B Blending. Take a look at all the different car soaps, waxes, sealants. You might start to see a common trail back to your favorite product. The other thing that's really concerning is that this stuff is mass produced. It is so cheap. And my claim has always been, why do we pay so much for stuff? Why are we paying for stuff that's mass produced that one company is putting in a bottle and company B is putting the same stuff in the bottle and drastically different prices? It's crazy. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon.